So we have been resting on our bellies for a little while. I'm taking some time here. Shifting a little bit, wiggling a little bit. And just a belly down Shavasana can be very grounding. Allow your exhales to release you into this posture a little bit deeper, breath by breath. Getting deep into the parasympathetic nervous system. You might feel your pulse in your belly. You might get a little gurgling there. These sounds are welcomed, but if you don't hear them, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong. And this posture is like a big hug. And we could all use a hug right now, and no one's near. So take your yoga hug. Take your yoga hug. Exhale into it. Remembering to try out the other side of your head so that both sides of your neck get a stretch. One side's always more comfortable, but make sure you do both. Spend time on both sides. Rearrange, adjust as you need to. Hit the pause button. Stay here for a little while. When you feel ready to come out of this, you can come onto your forearms, reach back through your toes, maybe come onto your hands and start to peel your front body away from the bolster. You could slowly press back. Have a table pose and sway a little bit. Round your back like a Halloween cat. Arc like a puppy. Maybe you want a moment in a child's pose. You can use your props or not. If your hips lift away from your heels like mine do, you can offer yourself a rolled up blanket or another bolster between hips and heels so that you can allow yourself to feel a little bit more supported and grounded, if you wanted. Knees could be closer together or wider apart. Arms could be overhead, alongside your body. One arm this way, one arm that way. Take some time here. So in these belly down postures, it's usually when I come around in my yoga classes to offer you some hands-on assists, some Thai massage, teasers, a little aromatherapy, that kind of thing. So take a moment to just imagine some warm hands on your back. Smell of something gently uplifting, maybe a citrus scent. Take a few breaths. Sometimes in these postures, especially the belly down one, you might even fall asleep, and that's okay. Take your time. And then when you're ready to come up, make your way up slowly. Kneeling or sitting, get some movement into your shoulders, shrugging into your ears, releasing them away. Lean your head to one side, lift your chin, dip it. Lean your head to the other side. Lift and nod your chin. If you want to get a bit deeper into these stretches, you can use one hand on the side of your head, have some movement, maybe tuck your arm behind you, stretch your jaw, lift your chin, tuck it. Come up through center, take your head the other way. Do the other side. Breathe, have some little movements. And come back to center. So now we're going to do some lower body work, especially for those of you who have been working from home and maybe working from furniture that isn't conducive to comfort while you do so. You could use a rolled up towel, a bolster, a pillow, something underneath your hips and lift your legs up. Or you could just take your legs up the wall and do that if you prefer. But, so what we're going to do is not have anything underneath the head. But you can take one bolster or pillow or blanket towards the foot of your mat and another one close by. And we're going to come and rest on our backs. Press your feet into the floor and then lift your hips and slide the bolster, it's not the most graceful thing, underneath your sacrum. So it's not under the curve of the small of your back, but a little bit lower between your tailbone and where low-rise jeans become risque. Lift your head and place it back. Now your gaze is going to be straight up. I'm looking at the camera so that I'm staying engaged with you, but your gaze is going to be straight up so that your head and neck are neutral. And try and find some space in your jaw. Arms can rest wherever you want. You could lift them in the air and have your shoulders on the ground. You could hug your knees in towards you, creating a stretch into the low back. You might feel like floating your legs up into the air and having some movement with your feet or shaking your legs out, stretching out wide, crisscrossing, maybe a V shape, maybe hugging the backs of your thighs deep in towards you. This can create a lot of space in the low back. To counter all the sitting, we're going to keep one knee in and stretch the other leg long so your heel comes onto the other bolster. You may have to adjust the bolster that's beneath you. Reach out through the extended leg, draw your bent leg in. You can roll your knee open or a little bit across you. Keep breathing, maybe making some circles. You can try one way, the other way. Switch legs. So we're opening the front of the leg that's outstretched, and we're lengthening through the lower back on the side with the legs drawn in. So again, some movement, some circles. And then if you want to stretch both legs out and rest, this helps to counter always being short and folded at the front of the hip. Arms can be at your side or overhead for a little more intensity. So what's going on here? All the muscles that support the hip, that support us being upright, are being paid attention to. And the most important part is the diaphragm. So all the muscles in the front body, all the muscles in the back body weave in towards the diaphragm, the hip flexors, the low back, all that stuff. Feel free to draw in and stretch out, or you can have one foot on the floor and stretch your other leg long. You can switch sides and do a little bit that way. The longer you can stay here, the better. So what I recommend if it's really intense, have less height underneath you. It could be a folded towel or blanket. It'll be lower, and then this will be in less intense, and then you may not need anything underneath your feet. If you want more intensity, have this higher lift and then slide away the support from underneath your feet, and this will open the back bend more intensely if that's what you desire. Stay here and rest. Breathe. And be with it. This is really helpful. This posture helped me a lot when I was working through some major back injuries, and still, to keep all of that stuff away, especially if I've been sitting too long or sleeping too long or any of that kind of stuff, which might be happening for you too. So take some time, rest, be with whatever arises, allow it to show up, hold space for it, and treat yourself with kindness, whatever's coming up. Every part of you is welcome here. So options, you can stay outstretched, you can do one leg at a time, you can lift both legs up into the air, doing what you can to make yourself as comfortable as possible. Being here with your breath. So whichever version of this posture you're taking, it is an inversion. Your legs, your lower body is higher than your upper body, allowing everything to drain back towards your torso. This boosts your vitality and your immunity, and it aids digestion. It calms and soothes the nerves. It's beneficial on every level. In most yoga practices, we like to go upside down at some point because it changes our perspective and it offers us all of those things I just said. And there's so many different ways to go upside down. And in this way, it's calming and soothing. As you stay here, you can stay in the back bend. If you feel like bending your knees and swaying your knees a little bit from side to side, and then slowly drawing your legs back in towards you, curling up into a little ball. You can float your legs back up into the air and shake them out. Shake, shake, shake. Shake and wiggle. Move, stretch, yawn. And from here, the setup for Shavasana is not very far away. So you, again, could hit the pause button. If you've got some music you want to put on. I'm not playing music because it distracts from the sound, and there's also ownership rights that go along with that for video. So you could put a little music on, you could hit pause and stay here for a while. When you're ready to come out of the inversion, you've got that bolster beneath you. You could hug your knees in and nudge it forward, or you could press your feet into the floor and slide the bolster out and stretch out long. If you like your hands on your ribs, you could always have a blanket or something beside you to put your arm on and support your shoulder. If you want some space in your lower back, you could take your bolster underneath the backs of your thighs and stretch your legs out. You could stack pillows. You could place a blanket over you. You'd have a blanket for your head to rest on. And take some time to rest here. And I'll guide you through a little Shavasana meditation. So take your time. Get your layers on, get your socks on, get a sweater on, put a blanket on. Maybe you've got a little sound machine or some aromatherapy or something that you like. Take your time. Snuggle in, rest here. And we're going to get deeper into the relaxation. Soften your toes. Allow the soles of your feet to soften.
Softening into the crooks of your knees. Allowing the weight of your legs to feel supported. Soften into your hips. Let them sink into the support beneath you. Give your jaw a stretch. Make space between your teeth. Soften your tongue. Relax around your eyes. Smooth across your temples, your forehead, and your entire scalp. Relax around your ears. And allow your shoulders to rest into the mat. Placing your arms comfortably and inviting softness into your solar plexus, into your belly. And be here. And breathe. Sometimes I add another blanket, some weight, a bag of rice, your hands right here on your solar plexus to help stay aware of the breath as it flows in and out of your body, ebbing and flowing. Imagining that everything beneath you is made of sand and it's shifting around as you breathe. It's warm from the sun and that warmth radiates throughout you. And at each little grain of sand shifts around to offer you support where you need it and some space and some contour where you need that too. With each inhale, you're expanding that space, taking up a little bit more of it, and then with each exhale, you're pouring yourself into it and allowing yourself to really fill it up. Inhale, expand, nourish. Exhale, settle, pour yourself into that space. So that with each breath, the shape of you becomes a little bit more clearly defined. Breath by breath, becoming a little bit more you. Breath by breath, connecting to that a little bit more. If you wander away, if you notice, come back. Come back to the breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. The breath is everything, your greatest guide, your constant companion, your life force. Keep breathing. And the practice of yoga is so much more than physical asana. The shapes and the postures and our breath are the most gross aspect, the easiest way for us to get into the practice. But the practice is so much more than this. Watch what bubbles up. Can you tell yourself something kind without discounting how you're feeling? Maybe you thank yourself for setting aside this time for you, this time for your inward journey, this time to make space for peace and tranquility and understanding. Setting aside this time is no easy feat. Trying to find a quiet time in a quiet place is tricky these days, especially when I live in an apartment with people above me who are not always quiet when I need them to be. And finding that inner quiet within me is something that I can tap into at any time. And this is what I'm hoping to share with you. So wherever you are, whatever's going on, come back to your breath. Hear whatever sounds are happening and allow yourself to hold space just as you are, just as you are. If you prefer to sit in meditation, that's wonderful too. Close your eyes if that feels good. Let go of the weight of your head. Let go of the weight of your bones. And let your exhales sink you deeper. Sinking deeper and deeper. Shavasana, the easiest posture and concept, and sometimes the most challenging to practice. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Full permission to hit pause at any point in this practice. And I'm open to suggestions and requests. If there's something that you need that you want me to record specifically for you, please let me know. If you are ready to bring this practice to a close, you can start to deepen your breath. Have a yawn, have a sigh, clear your throat, have a hum, raspberries. And reach your arms out, give yourself a big hug, rock a little. Other arm on top, have a hug, rock a little. Maybe you hug your knees in and press the small of your back as you rock side to side. You could take your knees wide apart and rock side to side, close together. Take your time and roll off to one side. Have a couple of breaths, go slowly. We don't want to undo all this relaxation that we've taken the time to tap into. Coming up slowly, making your way to an easy seat, kneeling pose. Reach out, have a breath, and as you exhale, Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Make some space in your neck and your throat and your jaw. Press the sides of your thumbs into your heart center. Draw your chin back into space. Anjali Mudra, this hand gesture, namaste, promotes a peaceful inner feeling. And this gesture is one of gratitude, recognition, and greeting. So may you take this forward and share it with others. May you remember to offer yourself gratitude for making time for you and what you're feeling, making time for your relaxation and your focus inward. I'm so honored that you share your time with me. I'm so honored to be able to share this with all of you. Take care. Namaste. Be well. I'm here for you if you need anything. Please reach out. We're in this together. Be well.